Hello, and thanks for joining me for this episode of NCIA Today. I'm your host, Bethany Moore, NCIA's Director of Communications, checking in with you regularly with updates on what's happening in the cannabis industry and here at NCIA. It's another jam-packed episode as we catch up on everything that happened in the month of August. First and foremost, and most crucial, is our in-person 10th annual Cannabis Industry Lobby Days, which is less than 3 weeks away on September 13th and 14th. If you haven't yet registered and made your plans to travel to DC, now is the time to get your ducks in a row. We'll take care of the rest for you with online training before the event. And meanwhile, we're planning a full day of meetings with congressional offices, a networking reception to meet your fellow attendees, and a closing event featuring some of our most important allies in Congress. So, register on our website, book your flights, secure your hotel, and we'll see you on September 13th and 14th on Capitol Hill. I also caught up this week with NCIA Chief Executive Officer Aaron Smith to talk about the importance of Main Street cannabis using our voice on Capitol Hill. Let's check it out. Hey there, we're sitting in the studio with NCIA's CEO Aaron Smith, checking in about what's happening at NCIA. Thanks for sitting down with me for a few minutes.
It's great to be here, especially when we're talking about lobby days.
I know, I'm so excited. It's coming up in just a few weeks here on September 13th and 14th. So let's talk about what's really exciting this year. We haven't been in 3 years because of the pandemic. How exciting is that?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to get our members together to meet one another from across the country and most importantly work toward the common goal of ending marijuana prohibition and more pressingly, getting the Safe Banking Act passed. We have just a matter of weeks left really in the congressional calendar to get this passed, and our members coming out to DC is really could push it over the finish line.
Absolutely. I mean, we have our government relations team in DC working on behalf of our members year round, but really getting the business owners, the operators in person to talk with these offices is truly really impactful. There will be some veterans joining us, people who have lobbied with us before. This is our 10th annual Cannabis Industry Lobby Days, but we'll have some first-timers with us, people who have never lobbied before. So let's kind of talk about what that experience is like.
Yeah, we make it as easy as possible and try to break down the barriers around the speaking your mind to Congress. We provide training, which is coming up. The first training is coming up next week. And then we have other online trainings between now and the 13th. We put our members in groups so that they're led by more experienced folks who've been to lobby days before, provide talking points, marching orders, and make it as smooth and easy a process as possible. We also have 2 great social events in the beginning of the event and at the end with industry leaders, members of Congress. It's really, it's not really an event so much as it is an experience.
I agree. Definitely wear comfortable dress shoes for this event. There's a lot of walking between House and Senate buildings. It might sound intimidating to talk to members of Congress, but it's important to remember that we are educating them. On that note, it is important to have a seat at the table to talk about these issues, to have our voices heard, to represent Main Street cannabis. This is small and medium-sized businesses, mom and pop boutique stores, veteran-owned stores, social equity license and operators. Let's talk a bit more about that.
Yeah, so I mean, the industry has gotten so big that there are several lobbyists working in DC right now. NCIA proudly is the only organization that focuses on representing the interests of small businesses. And what that means is making sure that we don't have onerous taxes and regulations at the federal level when legalization comes, which is imminent, and making sure that the issues that affect small businesses uniquely are heard in Congress. And especially, you said before, we have lobbyists there every day and they're doing a great job, but it's a whole different thing for a member of Congress or their staff to sit down and talk to somebody who runs a cannabis business every single day versus the representatives like us. And so, I'm specifically excited about safe banking, but also we have we also have legislation KOA in the Senate that is not the perfect bill. It's a great bill, but there's a lot of room for improvement, and we're going to be able to talk about those, the needed improvement as we work through the day on the Hill.
Absolutely. So we'll be bringing members from all of our membership across the board, the small business owners, the more established business owners, veteran-owned businesses I mentioned as well, and our diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarship recipients. A few of those will be able to join us this year as well.
Yeah, as many as possible. We, thanks to the sponsors of Lobby Days, we're able to provide at least a travel stipend for some to come across the country, because it's really important that all voices are heard. Not just those who have the means maybe to make it to DC and spend 3 days out of their business. So we, thanks to our sponsors, we're able to provide travel stipend for some of our social equity scholarship recipients. We also have a partnership with the Veterans Cannabis Alliance, and a number of veterans are coming out to join us, and really just show this as a coalition front as we work to end marijuana prohibition.
That's great. I'm really looking forward to getting everybody together on the Capitol steps and taking that big group photo after all this time. So as we're wrapping up here, what else should our viewers know about our upcoming Lobby Days? Again, right around the corner, September 13th and 14th. What else do we need to know?
I mean, travel. Book your travel now.
Yes.
And register, because the cost of registration it's a $10 donation, and you have to be a member, of course, to participate. But travel costs start going up here as we approach the event. So now is the time to make the decision and book your flights, and we'll see you in DC.
Absolutely. We'll provide a FAQ document once you get registered with all kinds of details, suggestions on hotels or Airbnbs, airports, transportation. So we do try to make this as easy as possible for those
Absolutely.
who register. But step one, register. All right. Thanks again for sitting down with me for a few minutes. I can't wait to see everybody in DC.
Thank you.
All right, next on our website's Industry Insights blog, we spoke with board members Khurshid Khoja and Michael Cooper about their experience at the CANRA conference in early June. The Cannabis Regulators Association, CANRA, held this 2-day conference to gather marijuana government regulators, trade associations, and businesses. Check out the blog to learn more about who was at the conference and more about the goals and outcomes of the gathering. Moving along, we heard from NCIA members Dart Bank about the trials and tribulations in cannabis banking compliance. Even though cannabis businesses must go through an inspection with their operating state before they're licensed, financial institutions are still required to make sure they know what they're working with. Nicole Perry of Dart Bank says that financial institutions are not asking you to do this to make your life difficult. Read more in her blog. Next, we consider how technology can contribute to a more equitable cannabis industry in a new blog from Cognitive Harmony Technologies. CEO Walter Moore says that in a new industry where the gap between the have and have-nots is already wide and growing rapidly, more steps need to be taken by regulators to eliminate the pay-to-play mistakes that have infested other state cannabis policies. Check out more on our website. Okay, next, to complement the podcast interviews with our Risk Management and Insurance Committee on consumption lounges, check out the blog from Jody Green and Matthew Grimes, where we learn more about what the detractors are citing and a host of reasons to prevent lounges from coming to a city near you, including at the forefront like fears of public nuisance and overconsumption. Head to the blog to read more. Thanks to our members and committees, there's so much information and education on our website's blog for you to help run your cannabis business better, faster, stronger, and more compliantly. So be sure to take a deep dive into all of these insights, like a new blog from My Flora DNA with advice on what cannabis growers should know about hop-latent viroids, commonly known as dudding disease. Plus, check out the latest Equity Member Spotlight with Osbert Orduña of The Cannabis Place, which is committed to launching as a union cannabis dispensary on day one and is the first ever disabled, veteran, and minority-owned business enterprise to successfully navigate the Jersey City, New Jersey municipal cannabis dispensary approval process. We recently spent some time with some of our Colorado members here in Denver at an industry social presented with 710 Spirits and sponsored by Iconic Clean. We heard from NCIA CEO Aaron Smith about our work in DC, signed up new members, and played and partied with some of our original members. Let's check it out.
Hey, thank you all. So good to be back in Denver after quite a long time. We are closer than we've ever been. Especially for the small businesses that make up our membership. Just imagine how much further we can go once we get access to banking services without exorbitant fees. So, this, if it doesn't happen, I really just from the bottom of my heart want to thank all of you who come out tonight to support the association. I especially want to thank the members.
And that was an awesome event. All right, it's time to wrap up, but in the meantime, check out our educational offerings with our Industry Essentials webinar series. Check the schedule on our website as more webinars are added. And keep learning by listening to both of our podcasts to keep you informed and inspired. You can tune into NCIA's Cannabis Industry Voice, which I host, and NCIA's Cannabis Minority Report, hosted by Khadija Adams. If you're an NCIA member, reach out to me to learn how you can contribute educational content for our website and newsletter, or pitching to be a guest on our podcast. Please send me an email to get the ball rolling, bethany@thecannabisindustry.org. As always, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram to stay inspired and connected. If you're a member of NCIA, log into NCIA Connect and spark up a conversation with your fellow NCIA members and colleagues today. We'll see you next time.